Hello, everyone. Today I will be discussing the similarities and differences in the laws on bail jumping between Michigan and Louisiana. I'll draw from my personal experience with a criminal case in Louisiana to provide a practical perspective. This comparison will help us understand how these two states approach the issue of bail jumping. An offense that occurs when someone fails to appear in court as required after being released on bail. Both Michigan and Louisiana have laws addressing bail jumping, but they approach the offense in slightly different ways due to variations in their legal frameworks. In Michigan, bail jumping is not defined as a standalone criminal offense. Instead, failing to appear in court as required can result in a revocation of bail, forfeiture of the bond, and additional charges depending on the nature of the original offense. Under Michigan law, if someone fails to appear in court as required, the court can issue a bench warrant for their arrest. The individual may also face contempt of court charges, which can lead to additional fines or jail time. The bail amount posted is forfeited if the defendant does not show up in court. The bond company, if one is involved, might pursue the defendant to recover the forfeited amount. In some cases, depending on the original charge, failing to appear might result in additional criminal charges being filed. For example, if the original charge was a felony, the defendant might face felony charges related to their failure to appear. In Louisiana, on the other hand, explicitly defines bail jumping as a criminal offense. The state's laws are more specific in how they handle them individuals who fail to appear in court after being released on bail. Louisiana statutes 14.110.1 defines bail jumping as the intentional failure to appear at a specified time and place as ordered by the court. This statute applies to both misdemeanors and felonies, with penalties that vary based on the severity of the original charge. The penalties for bail jumping in Louisiana are significant. For misdemeanors, the offense is typically punishable by a fine, imprisonment for up to 6 months, or both. For felonies, the penalties can include a fine of up to $2,000 and imprisonment with or without hard labor for up to 2 years, in addition to any penalties associated with the original charge. Similar to Michigan, Louisiana courts will also forfeit the bail bond and issue a bench warrant for the defendant's arrest if they fail to appear. Despite the differences in how bail jumping is classified and penalized, there are several similarities between the two states. In both Michigan and Louisiana, failure to appear in court leads to the issuance of a bench warrant for the defendant's arrest. Both states enforce the forfeiture of bail bonds when the defendant fails to appear, meaning the defendant or their surety loses the money posted as bail. Although Michigan does not define bail jumping as a separate crime, Both states impose additional legal consequences on those who fail to appear, whether through contempt charges or additional criminal charges. However, there are key differences that are important to understand. In Michigan, bail jumping is not a standalone offense, whereas in Louisiana, it is clearly defined and penalized as a separate crime. The penalties for bail jumping in Louisiana are explicitly outlined and can be severe, especially for felony cases. Michigan's approach relies more on the consequences of contempt of court or additional charges related to the original offense. Louisiana's legal framework provides more specific guidance on how to handle bail jumping, reflecting a more structured approach to penalizing the offense compared to Michigan's broader handling under general court procedures. In my criminal case in Louisiana, these differences have direct implications. Given Louisiana's clear statutory framework, the consequences for failing to appear were clearly defined, leading to specific charges and penalties under RS 14110.1. This structured approach may result in harsher penalties compared to what might be experienced in Michigan, where the absence of a specific bail jumping statute leaves more discretion to the courts. In conclusion, while both Michigan and Louisiana take bail jumping seriously, the legal treatment of this offense varies significantly between the two states. Louisiana's explicit criminalization of bail jumping underlines the state's intent to strictly enforce court orders, while Michigan's approach focuses more on the broader consequences of contempt and bond forfeiture. Understanding these differences is crucial for anyone navigating the legal systems in these states, particularly for those like myself involved in a criminal case where bail jumping is a concern. Thank you for your attention, and I'm open to any questions you may have.